Are you retired or are you nearing retirement? If so, you're probably a bit concerned because you're facing a double whammy of both price inflation and a falling stock market at the same time. If that's you, I'm going to give you 6 strategies to help you navigate these challenging times. My name's Kevin Lum. I'm a certified financial planner, and I'm dedicated to helping people have the knowledge they need to retire without worry. If you enjoy this content, you like this channel, if you do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe, ding that bell, and leave a comment below. And as a reminder, I am a financial advisor, but I am not your financial advisor. So nothing I say should be taken as financial advice. The first recommendation I have, or the first strategy, is avoid making rash decisions. I know this is a scary time. During the 2020 COVID crash, I received a call from someone who'd sold all their stock at a 30% loss. And they were kind of bragging to me. They said, I lost 30%, but at least I stopped the bleeding. Now we know that if they just stayed the course and not sold, not only would they not have lost money, but most likely, even in today's market, they would have been up. And so the first piece of advice, if possible, stay the course and try to avoid selling at a loss. Now, if you are in a position where you need to sell stocks, be strategic and see if you can help reduce your taxes by taking a loss. This is called tax loss harvesting, if you want to Google it. But honestly, I would recommend talking to a financial professional, a financial advisor, a CFP, or maybe an accountant, a CPA, and they can help you with strategy around tax loss harvesting. But if possible, avoid selling during a down market. So the first step is don't make any rash decisions. Avoid selling if possible. The second strategy is increase your cash reserve. Well, the common wisdom is to have enough money in savings to cover 3 to 6 months of expenses. Because we're facing just a general slowdown in the economy, whether or not we enter a recession, if you are in retirement or nearing retirement, I would actually consider having 1 to 2 years in liquid savings if possible. This can reduce the need to make rash decisions in the market. So if you're thinking, yeah, sure, I would love to save more money, but I don't have any more money to save. I want to just quickly walk through the C.A.N process. It's C.A.N. It's something cheesy I created to help my clients remember it. Yes, you can save more money. I promise I'm not normally this cheesy. But the process is this. First, you should start by just writing down all of your expenses over the past month, the past couple of months, and then take those expenses and put them in 2 separate buckets. One bucket is fixed expenses. There's just some things you can't do anything about, your monthly rent, whatever that might be. And then in the other bucket, you have your discretionary spending, and maybe even prioritize your discretionary spending. Right? There are some things that are more important to you than others. So write out everything you're spending money on, Netflix, DoorDash, wherever your money might be going, and then kind of prioritize how important is that to you. And then when you need to start cutting to save money, maybe start at the bottom of that priority list and kind of work your way up those discretionary expenses. So the first thing I would have people do is, where can I cut? Where can I cut my expenses? Maybe can we do without Netflix? Maybe can we, I don't know what the thing might be. Most people find something on their list. They're like, yeah, life would be a bit more difficult without that, but we could cut there. Then the next part of the C.A.N process is A, and that's for assets. Are there any assets that I can either sell or leverage? So once a month, I walk around our property. I go in the backyard, look in the garage, I look at our closets. I just try to see if there's anything we can sell. And not even because we need the money, but simply because I hate clutter. And so is there anything cluttering up our house that I can put on Craigslist or I can put on OfferUp to help raise some additional money that I could invest? Or are there any assets that I could leverage? Right now we live in a world of the sharing economy. You can put a room up on Airbnb or a back house on Airbnb, or there are even people who rent their car out on a website called Turo, or there are other websites where you can rent out a travel trailer or a tent or whatever it might be, right? Are there any assets that you have that maybe could help you create some passive income? So do you have anything that you could leverage or sell? The final step in the C.A.N process is negotiate. Are there any expenses that you can actually negotiate or reshop? So let me give you a couple examples. Cable. Most cable and internet providers, if you call them and say, hey, I want to cancel, talk to the cancellation department, say, I'm trying to cut costs, I just can't afford this anymore, they'll be willing to give you a promotional rate that'll last maybe a year. And often it can cut the expenses, what you're paying for cable or internet, in half. Also, see if they offer anything for people on a low income or fixed income or retirees. you'd be surprised at some of the savings programs they have. If you can't renegotiate, maybe reshop. So your homeowners and your car insurance are two things that you should reshop every couple of years. Particularly if you're with a captive agent. So if you're with State Farm or Farmers, they only have their rates. But if you go to a local insurance broker, they can shop sometimes 10, 15 different insurance companies and just see, is there a way that you could actually lower the cost, your monthly cost on your homeowners or your auto insurance or your renter's insurance? And clients are always shocked at how much money they can save. The other thing that you can negotiate, and this really surprises people, is if you have credit card debt, and I hope you don't, and if you do, you should pay it off. But if you have a revolving credit line, you have credit card debt, you can negotiate those interest rates. You just call the credit card company. Often they'll be willing to lower the rate you're paying. I read a study the other day, like 70% of credit card companies are willing to renegotiate the rate. So the C.A.N process is just a great way to help you raise a little extra money to be able to increase your cash reserves. So anything you can cut, are there any assets that you can leverage or sell, or anything that you can renegotiate or shop? Another strategy is potentially withdrawing less. Now, most people have heard that you can withdraw about 4% of your portfolio's value each year without running the risk of running out of money later in life. But when a portfolio has taken a big hit, like many portfolios have taken this past year, withdrawing money may mean selling stocks into a down market. And if that pattern continues for a while, it can be harder for your portfolio to recover, even if future returns are above average, which they historically are. So if you're in that case, if possible, maybe delay withdrawing as much money until you begin to see more strength in the market. The next strategy that we often recommend is maybe delaying retirement. So if you haven't retired yet and you're looking at a shrinking portfolio and you're concerned about having enough money to retire, first reach out to a financial advisor. You could be way better off than you think you are. But if you're not, and it turns out you really aren't in a position to retire, you can potentially delay retiring by a year or two. The next thing you can do, besides just thinking about delaying retiring, you can also rethink Social Security. One way to boost income is to claim Social Security later in life. Now, if you're in a jam and you just need the income because your portfolio is down, you can maybe claim it earlier. But waiting until you're 70 can be smart if you can swing it, because for every year that you wait to take your Social Security payment from up until the age of 70, your benefit increases, your monthly benefit increases by 80. I keep getting this wrong, by 8%. It'd be nice if it was 80%. Increases by 8%. That means that if your retirement age is at 66 and you wait till age 70 to claim it, you end up with 132% of your monthly benefit. And that lasts throughout the rest of your retirement. There are also some strategies you can use. If you're married, one spouse can claim Social Security earlier, the other can wait later. But it's a bit too complicated for this video. But clients who claim Social Security earlier than planned and often come to regret it. And if that's you, you can actually potentially get a do-over. You can file with the Social Security Administration and ask for a request for withdrawal of application. And if you're approved, you have to return in one lump sum everything you've been paid, and then you can wait till later to claim higher benefits. Now, here's the kicker. You can only do that once in your life. So if you do it, just know you get one chance and you can't do that again. But you could either go either way. If you really are hard up and you're going to have to take a lot of money out of a loss, it might be worth it taking your Social Security a little bit later. If you can wait, the further you can push taking Social Security withdrawals towards the age of 70, the better you're going to be. And then the final strategy is, are there any new income streams that you could create? So this is kind of related a bit to the C.A.N process. Could you rent out your Airbnb? Could you rent out an additional car if you have an extra car? I have a client that rents out his Subaru. He has an extra Subaru and he rents it to people going to the mountains for the weekend. And he makes like $400 to $500 extra a month on a car that was just sitting in his driveway. Maybe you could do some consulting services. There's a couple websites, Fiverr and OfferUp, that make it really easy to get consulting gigs or short-term gigs. You may have an expertise that you build up over your entire career. You don't want to go into the office from 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, but you wouldn't mind doing a little consulting for 5 hours a week. And that income can also help you maybe have to take less money from your portfolio and may also let you delay taking your retirement or taking your Social Security. So just to recap, if you are in retirement or you're nearing retirement, don't freak out. We've been through this before. We go through these cycles, these ups and the downs. The market goes up, the market goes down. But the good news is when the market is up, it's up way more than it's down typically. And we've been through inflationary periods before. It's going to be okay. But you need to reduce your spending a bit, raise a bit of extra cash. And if you're really worried, I'd recommend reaching out to a financial advisor. If this content was helpful to you, if you'd be willing just to click that like button, subscribe, ding the bell, leave a comment, let me know other things you'd like us to talk about or give some feedback. Like, that was terrible advice. I would never do anything you recommended. It might be sad for a couple of days, but I will take it under advisement. And then also we're starting a private Facebook group. It's just starting up, so there's not many people in there yet, but private Facebook group for people who are retired or nearing retirement, or who just like the idea of retirement. So if you fall into any of those categories, you can find the link to the Facebook page in the show notes below. And I'll be in there moderating and answering questions. So I'd love to see you. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you on the next video.